He doesn't like it being called Mandy.
Chick, just tell me what to hate, and I will hate it.
Oh, well, how about
Gosh.
Stop hating alliteration.
I didn't say that my conviction. I never said my convictions make sense. I just say that they're sincerely held.
They are definitely convictions, and you should be convicted or
incarcerated.
Incarcerated.
Thanks, guys.
Chig, did I convince you to host the show, or
I got it? Are there notes?
Yeah,
show
every time.
Hello, everybody. It is November 1st, 2024.
33:10,
man. I thought you guys were gonna leave me hanging. Somehow I got talked into hosting tonight because Lark Shadow.
It wasn't hard.
Internet is not meta, so he can't can't function properly here. Apparently,
clean drive internet.
Yeah, clean drive internet with it plugged into an SRV. It's like one of those, can your No, you don't have a hybrid. You get a full electric, don't you? Trax. Can you power stuff in
both.
your house from your?
I have a plug-in hybrid and an all-electric. I don't know. I don't have the right kind of plug to power stuff in my house.
Okay. I imagine that's
it has like normal 120 outlets, nothing big. I couldn't plug it into a whole house thing.
Oh,
what's your electric vehicle?
Run your internet off of it.
It's a Bolt EUV.
Okay.
I like it.
All right. I just imagine was the way that Lark would power his house, just to be different.
Yeah.
But it's an SRV. Full electric SRV that powers his internet and everything else. But hold on, I got to pull up the notes. Some stuff happened this week, so I'm going to look this up while we go down the line. I've got Adaxius, Bloomington, Trax, and Oblivious. Adaxius, Oblivious, Bloomington, and Trax. Sorry, I thought I said Oblivious twice or Adaxius twice. So you guys start with Adaxius. What have you done this week?
Reinstalled the game, bro.
It's about time.
It's a daily occurrence.
It's like a shower and a shave. You just get a fresh, clean start. Love it.
You don't have to
I have. Let me tell you exactly what I've done. Frontier, if you're listening, you got me to buy an ARX packs, baby. You did it. Well done. I'm clapping if that doesn't come over the mic. I am totally reinvigorated. I already loved the game. I am so jazzed about this update. So
it's not going to work, Dax.
I have been. Oh, can you guys tell I'm lying?
They're not going to unban you, man. Sorry.
No.
I know if you saw during the stream, I hashtag free Daxy in the thing. I tried to get you unbanned,
saw that.
but I've got no power.
I am going to buy my way out of the hole I put myself in, okay? I don't know how many arcs it's going to take. I will get myself out of this hole.
Start buying stock. We've been over this. We could eventually own the company if we just start
3,000 ARC per share.
Just keep buying those dips. Eventually, you're going to own a lot.
Buy the there, Daxy. Buy the dip. Just buy the dip, buddy. Yep,
absolutely.
I'm excited to be here, guys. I'm legit super jazzed, super excited, super happy. So
we'll get to that later.
Get to that later.
All right, let's hop. Let's go with Bloomington because I want to hear what kind of doctor stuff happened this week because that's our usual routine with him.
Our doctor stuff this week. It's been a quiet doctor week. Just a lot of endocarditis at one of my hospitals. So I've been taking a lot of pictures of a lot of hearts from a lot of people's esophaguses. So
Esophagi?
Esophagi, yes. So that was kind of the highlight of my work week. And then in game, I did the little tricks or treats thing, which was a lot of fun. Wander from place to place, do the Julius Caesar cipher thing from place to place. And then when I get to the final spot, some dude just opens up fire on my tissue paper ASP Explorer, but at least he was kind enough to do it after I'd gotten the final scan in. And he sent me a message basically saying that, he was doing it to add to the atmosphere because in the final one, it's kind of all this kind of scary, spooky messages with like people dying and shit. And so he's just like, I wanted some debris in the area just to add to the atmosphere. So I friended him as a consequence. And then other than that,
And then blocked him.
No, I had blocked him. No,
I'm kidding.
I knew better than to go and open, but I went and opened because why not? I mean, rebuys are cheap.
So you're just cannon fodder to his cannon now.
I was cannon fodder to his cannon, and then I rematerialized at a fleet carrier in the system. So and then proceeded to go home.
Well, for those that don't know what that is, I'm not talking about me, of course. I obviously know what it is, but do you want to? Yeah, I don't think spoilers matter anymore because we're past the event now, aren't we?
Yeah, it's All Saints Day. So you're good.
Can you give the TLDR version of what this thing was?
Oh, I didn't do it yet, so feel free to fill me in.
Yeah. So basically, there's a Galnet message that this fortune hunter who has a celeb crush on the late Captain Morgan. A female Captain Morgan named after the Celtic goddess of death. So that spelling.
Celtic goddess of death was named.
Yeah, the Celtic
Morrigan.
Yeah, Morrigan. Yes. So it was Captain Morrigan instead of Captain Morgan. Anyway, so he went
more like Captain Morrigan.
Yes, he went. Hilarious. He had a star map to her final resting place or her final treasure, and so basically what you're supposed to do is fly from system to system, and in each system you scan a tourist beacon and or listening post, and it gives you another piece of the story, and it gives you a cipher code, and it was the Julius Caesar letter shift cipher code, but they were really sneaky because the cipher you also had to do the number shift for the numbers for the planetary systems, so you had to subtract 2 from each number. So where there was like a number 1, it goes to 0 and then 9 because you're going backwards. And then once you get from point to point.
Wait, that's not how numbers work. It'd be -1.
Well, it's like a rolling numbers thing. Pretend the numbers are letters, okay? Just roll with it.
It's pi. That's why it's rolling.
Yes.
He's a doctor, not an accountant.
I'm not. My daughter's an accountant to be, so like she would have yelled at me too.
Yeah, but Tim, I'm a doctor, not a banker.
Exactly. So no. Anyway, so then you eventually get to the last spot, and when you get to the last one, you get blown up by a ganker, which it's fine. It's fine. He let me get the scan in before he murdered me. But yeah, I mean, it was, I saw some other pilots zipping around and in their T8s and other new ships that they were excited about. And you get 40 million credits and you get a bunch of new skins. And then there's like a, Peter Pumpkin Eater skin for all the on-foot people who like to do on-foot and costume. So
neat.
Yeah, so it was cool. And the skins weren't bad. They're pretty cool. So it was a fun little jaunt. I always enjoy those. So thank you, FDev, for doing that this week. And distracting me from the conflict in V2151 Cygni, which was the other way I occupied my time in game this week.
Wait a minute, we're not at Squadron Update yet. You
No,
can't.
we're on Blooming Wind Update.
Who do you think you are?
Telling you what he did this week, which was BGF, because he's a good little BGS soldier.
He's foreshadowing.
I'll let it slide this time. You ban
a little bit of
next time
shame.
you cross that line.
A little bit of time make you feel guilty.
Hold on, guys. Beep boop ba doop boop. Blooming Wind Update.
Oh my god. All right. So moving on. I forgot to mention that it's episode 258. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. I'm just going to throw shit in randomly as we move along.
I think you might have said that already, but
all right. No, I gave the date, but I didn't give an episode number. And then I saw Lark Shadow, and he never forgets to say that. And now it's his turn to turn his head and cough. So, Lark Shadow, go.
Well, if I disappear during this, someone tell me, because my poor computer's still booting up because very old hard drive.
How are you talking then?
I went into the task manager and I changed Discord to high priority.
NLHate is yelling at you right now.
Yeah.
And shut up, hate. I ordered the freaking new hard drives that are solid state. I'm working on it.
Okay, I'm raising my hand to ask you a question. You got to call
Sure.
on me, though. How does a guy who works in IT not have solid state drives in his computer?
Because IT pays crap.
But you should have been easily able to steal some by this point. I mean,
Clean drive.
where do you think the hard drive in my current one came from?
Clean drives, Jig.
oh my
Clean
God.
drives.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, this
exactly.
week has been a freaking well, I described it to Bloomington as like having 3 Fridays worth of stress at the end of the week from Wednesday till now. Because my wife was finishing her phlebotomy class, which she passed the state certification for it, and won't hear back about the national for like a week or so because that has to go somewhere else to get graded, I guess. But she feels good about it. And then the Mandalay came out, and there was an FU, and just so much stuff. And I'm tired, man.
All right. Well, I guess that
Well, good night.
Mr. Tracks.
Okay, see ya.
What's new in your world? Gin tricks.
Me,
Justin, what's up, Justin?
I've been.
Who the hell's Justin?
What I've been doing.
Break brains.
Let's see. It was Halloween. We had fun. I made a fun costume for my wife and myself.
I saw the
which
picture of it.
I think
It
I
was
shared a
fun.
video in Discord for anybody who was here.
That was a big.
It was pretty good.
I'm just
Tracks
amazed you
face
made
reveal.
yourself the physical ground. That was interesting. Arch your back quite a bit to get in there, but I impressive.
Yeah,
I don't know if
It's
that's
only
a
12
code.
volts. It's fine.
3.5.
No, see, there you go.
Jesus,
It
going
was
further.
Three
so
and a half
we
inches?
volts, baby, volts.
Oh, volts.
We were like string lights. We were like festive string lights that, and I made things that looked like a great big Edison plug, and we plugged in together, rigged it all with magnetic switches so it comes on when we would plug them together. So my wife had the socket part and I had the plug. It was pretty good. She's a fairly short person, so yeah, I had to squat down a little bit to get the plug in the right slot. You know what I'm talking about.
Somewhere
You guys know what I'm
Commander
talking
Volt
about.
is very uncomfortable.
Yeah, everything's going good. Doing some fun work stuff. I'm working on this like sounds for a device, for like a physical device that I am NDA'd on, so I can't say any details about it, but it's sort of interesting. I'm like adjusting and manipulating sounds to optimize them, and then uploading them to this test kit that I have and seeing how they work and things like that. So not stuff that I do very often, so it's pretty cool. And then this game got a big update with stuff in it that is fantastic, and FDev took my money. So there we go.
Fantastic.
And then, most recently I kidnapped Audaxius because he wanted to see the Mandalay. So I just picked him up at Vaterman, and then he was like, he climbed in the ship and said, "Let's ride." So I took him, and now I've left where his ship is. So I guess he hopes I'll bring him back. But
This
we're
is
just gonna
physical.
fly around the surface.
Physical multi-crew, baby. There's no going back.
Yeah.
I am all in. Where are you taking me?
I just
You're
waited.
never-
He complained because we were in the dark, so I flew
Hey,
over to the
if these are
sunnier
my
side of the
final
planet.
moments, it's worth it for hearing that fucking boost sound in the man.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, dude.
Oh
Trax
my
is just flying to
God.
Colonia without telling him.
Oh, boost the whole way, baby. Do it in real space.
You're never gonna get the
Boost
smell
me,
out of
baby.
the leather in your ship, Tracks. Just so you know.
Oh Lord,
We're gonna get low here and see if I manage to explode myself while talking on a podcast.
This is cool.
Both of us, actually.
Yep.
All right. Last, and I don't know if he's least or not. I don't really rate you guys all that
We'll
much.
go for
But
least.
last, we'll go with Oblivious, because he wouldn't notice if I insulted him anyway. Because
Well, being oblivious. One of us is anyway. Well, yeah. Well, Jig, let me start here. I was raised in a middle class family,
Oh boy.
and I am
Oh, boy.
so damn happy that we have less than 5 days of campaign ads to listen to. That's real life.
You and me both,
yeah.
brother.
Yeah, man.
And
It's almost
this
over,
game-
we've
everybody.
been seeing about 5 days of campaign ads every 3 hours. So
In game, I've been doing a little BGS side project. Been working on that. Second phase of it. First phase of it, Scotty helped me out on. Appreciate it, Mr. Scotty. Let's see, bouncing back and forth between that and playing around with Cocijo a little bit. And yeah, got my hands on the Mandalay and fell in love with that boost sound. Like I said, I made it my ringtone.
Nice. Put that sound file in the Discord somewhere for the rest of us.
Exactly. And I spent with the only thing I'd engineered when I started with this was just the thrusters, and went out to a stronghold and spent 45 minutes just boosting around the stronghold, looking at the stronghold ships, the mega ships. Those were pretty cool, but just flying that thing for like 45 minutes straight. It is. And it's a work of art. I'm really enjoying that ship.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. All right. What do we usually go to next? Squad update? How we move on to?
Did we get everybody? We didn't do you.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
Chig,
that's
how's
'cause
it
I'm
going?
Hey,
hosting.
shit. What are you up to?
How's
My
the new
word
job?
count's
What's
gonna
going on?
be way high right now. God damn it. Let's see. There was Halloween. There was work. There was there's been this game I've been playing a lot more than I have in quite a while. I think that might have been why they did this. To tell you the truth, is to get
It's
people to play
weird,
more.
right?
It's
What
kind
a
of
dirty
weird.
trick.
Yeah, I mean, player numbers are the highest they've been in almost 2 years right now. You know,
It's
you always
that-
get a bump with new stuff,
It's
but
that boost sound, baby.
yeah, definitely the boost sound. It's got to be. Let me see. Go back in time. Anything else happen this week? Oh, my daughter smacked up our car pretty good. Her very first time driving solo
no.
at night. She went to leave and she made it almost a block and hit a parked car.
First things first, is she okay?
Yes. Well, she was obviously traumatized by the whole thing because she didn't know what happened. You know, she basically, it would have just been a little side swipe. Not that that's any better. You still have damage to like every panel on both the parked car and our car.
Oh man!
But the car that she hit was parked. You know, it was facing downhill, so that their tires turned inward. So the front of the tires were sticking out, and the front bumper of our car hit those tires. So it pushed their car onto the curb and, spun the back end of our car out. So our car took more damage to the front. Got the appraisal on it, $9,500 in damage just to our vehicle.
Woof.
Yeah. So that happened last Friday night. She hasn't gotten behind the wheel again since. I should make her, but we've been so busy, haven't had an opportunity. So I think tomorrow I'm going to make her drive again just to get back on the horse. And that was after going to her school play, which was Evil Dead the musical. I neither like musicals or high school plays. This was fucking fantastic. They had a section of the audience called the Splatter Zone where all the blood shot on you. They gave, you could buy seats in that section, and you got a T-shirt that you'd wear, and fake blood all in that section and stuff.
That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, I was laughing. I mean, full on belly laughing on parts of it. It was super good.
A phrase some of us have not heard since Gallagher.
Yes, Splatter
Zone.
This was just all fake blood, and it was super good because it's not like it was just Evil Dead. It was basically Evil Dead 2 kind of plot line they had going on, but it was lines. Almost all the best lines are from Army of Darkness. So it was, this is my boomstick, and the crowd goes crazy. It was super, super good. If you ever hear of that showing somewhere, I recommend going and seeing it, or even you could probably find it on the internet, but there won't be a splatter zone unless I'm not going to touch that one.
There isn't a splatter zone on the internet, Chig. There isn't.
Yes.
There is not one.
I wish there was.
So there was that, and she was on a high for that, and she was going to go spend the night at a friend's house, and then that happened. So that was last weekend, and then work Monday. Tuesday, my boss came up to do a ride along, make sure that I'm doing my job correctly. I had one of my better days I've had in quite a while, which was nice. And then Thursday, then the thing was delayed, and then Thursday's Halloween, and we got this update thing that happened that I think we're going to talk about tonight, aren't we, guys?
No, we're
Is
postponing
that
that
on
till
the
next
agenda?
week.
Well,
You-
you're
Sorry,
running the
Dave.
show, man.
What?
Yeah.
You mean
All right.
Odyssey?
Just say you're running the show, man.
I'm just saying it'd be the most loose goose thing to just like tease it like we have and then not talk about it at all.
Just end the show now.
Yeah.
All right. It's
Well,
been a
good
great
night,
show,
everyone.
guys. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Cheese
Bye,
guys. All right. That's all for me. So let's move along to squad update. Go. Oh, wait. Somebody make us noise or something.
Squadron update.
All right. Now, who am I going to make do this? I know that Blooming Wind is like an
I
admiral.
kind of
but
want to make
Oblivious
I kind of
knows
want
a
to make
whole
Lark
lot.
Shadow do it because he changed all my notes, but then he might go rogue again.
Well, should you? And then you can just
I'm
correct.
so tired. There is a 100% chance I will go rogue again. So you just do it, man.
No. I'm stopping it right now. You guys put me in charge. Lark Shadow has to do it because he somehow got out of hosting tonight. So now he has to do the squad update. And Blooming Wind, you correct everything he says wrong.
All right.
Real-time fact checking.
I hate everything about this. I also think I'm in a Brave
Wrong.
tunnel right now.
I was under the-
there's
I was
some
under
long
the
Raven
impression-
tunnels tonight.
I was under the impression there would be no fact checking.
So
I
Powerplay
was under the impression there would be no facts.
Give it time.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
So,
My
so
facts are tricky
Powerplay
facts.
2.0 is here, and NLHate has already begun simping for Nakato Kaine.
Oh, he
Uh,
was simping for her long before there was ever a Powerplay 2.0.
Oh yeah, just
Fact
now
check.
it's official.
Now he's
Yeah,
being
he's ramped
rewarded
it up.
for it.
Yeah.
And
He's
according to
searching along.
Audaxius, Powerplay 2.0 is just a blast and a half, but I haven't had a chance to do it yet, so I couldn't tell you about that.
I'll tell you about that.
What do you say,
I'm not-
Audaxius?
I mean, when we get there, we'll finish with the squadron update.
Eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, that's the squadron update. See,
No, it's not. Get back to work.
Anyways, we lost in Soma. Again, we're working toward a rematch. Whoever is out there, push it against us. If you want to join the Discord so we can talk, so we can both stop hitting our heads against this wall, that'd be grand. I'm just saying.
And Commander Edward, keep at it, man. You're doing a yeoman's job out there. Don't let them get to you out there. So, my man, keep at it.
Trust me, we understand what getting to us means. Anyways, there is the conflict in V2151 Cygni still going, Blue?
Yes, it is, and we want to win it. So
Yes, we do.
it's a war. Deploy your hard points. Get your not combat ship there and kill a whole bunch of forgotten commanders and in your not combat ship people.
Yeah, because everyone remember, explorers are not combat ships. FDF
Unless they have 6 hard points.
Yeah, this is. Mhm.
What are the rules? I don't even know.
Yeah, you pick
Well-
our side and you kill the forgotten. And keep killing them until they're dead. All of them. That's the
We're
rule.
also still rebuilding an NLTT 1139 and G218-5 really rolls off the tongue, that one.
Yeah.
And
That's
if
true.
you want to get involved, feel free to get in the Discord. The Discord link is at loosecruised.com, and you can get in the standing orders channel and help us out.
Well played, Lark Shadow.
I do
Nice.
try sometimes.
So you're not correcting anything? It's all good?
Not on that. That's all good.
Okay, so that's the end of the squadron update? We don't need
Yeah,
to
he
cover
killed.
anything?
Ha! He crescendoed.
All right. All right, now who wants to do the Galnet update?
Pick someone.
Yeah. Choose.
Brax, give us the
You're the
Galnet
host.
update.
Okay.
See, normally
Uh,
Mark does it, but he's not. He did the squad update, so like,
Right.
I'll,
We can
I'll
just
help.
make him
shuffling
do
around.
everything. Really?
Yeah.
All right.
What date was the last mothership article in the last episode? I don't remember.
It was.
Okay.
Mothership.
Good. Great. Famed treasure hunter Herman Colt is missing.
Wait, didn't
We
we
already
already
talked
go
about
over
Not
this?
anymore.
Yeah.
Where-
Yeah, well, there
where
was
did
a
that
Galnet
20s
article about it.
voice come from?
I'm a newsman.
Like, famed treasure hunter goes missing, see?
President Winters assumes office.
I was actually disappointed with how that ended. I thought there would be some rum involved.
I'm a newsman.
We're already onto the Federation now. Keep up. The whole population of the Federation collectively sighs a sigh of relief. On the same day, the Mandalay is released. Zorgan Peterson, SCO-friendly explorer, ships out.
And there
Lee
was
Young
much
Ree
worse.
is Romad. Back to you, Chig. Oh, it seems Chig's mic is broken. Over to Oblivious for the weather.
Sorry, I'm dying. That was too much. That's how
There's
Galnet
no
has
weather
to be
in
done every
space.
week. Oh my god!
No,
Imagine just copying Waterspoon's article each week, redoing it in that voice.
Right.
just the whole thing, just a complete rip off of
Gosh,
what they do over there.
When you said over to Oblivious, if Oblivious immediately went into the weather guy from Family Guy voice and then went right back to you, I was gonna die.
It's
I was
going
gonna go George Carlin.
Oh man!
The night's forecast dark.
Wow.
Widely scattered light in the morning.
Can we
All
just
right.
get one of those teletype things for the background when we do the Galnet update next time?
Oh,
Yeah, I'll find one of those. I'll find one.
Okay,
all you need
quick
to do is pick
interjection. Sorry,
Again?
quick interjection for Audaxius. Are you trapped out on the surface? Can
yes, and I'm running on foot.
Can you call your ship back?
No, I have to go 2,000 meters. And
Okay,
I'm
let
on
me
the
come
way.
back.
Leave him there.
Let me pick you up. Let me pick you
Leave
back
him.
up.
You
I'm
already
still
left.
parked.
I was gonna say I'm on the way to get
I
Audaxius
was
if you
gonna have
want
to
to leave him
run.
there.
I was gonna have to
Shoot
run
him.
2 kilometers.
Do I need to come to you, or are you close enough you can get
I
back in
can
the
run
ship?
back. I thought you already
Okay.
left. Yeah, you
Never
gotta
mind.
drop me
Okay, go
off
on with the
outside
podcast.
base.
I
Sorry.
was watching to see if I could see where your ship was coming in. Okay, never mind.
Nope.
We'll get him back to
Oh.
his ship, everybody.
Yep.
thought you were gonna start.
Yeah, I'm on the
shooting
way
at
to
him.
rescue Daxi just in case. So
Yeah.
Oh my god! Well, while
Oh.
Alexis is running, give us the Thargoid War update, would you?
Me?
You.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
putting
there's a
everybody to
war
work.
going on. I actually did look this up. So, Cocijo cheese is the last target of the Thargoid War. We have 7 Titans down. We have 1 to go. Galnet is teasing things. Do they happen? Do they amount to in-game content or not? Who knows? We're down to 117 control systems, 3 current invasions, 1 of which is not knocked out yet. So let's see if AXI is dragging their feet or not, if they're not too busy murdering.
Wrong.
If they're not too... What?
It's 116. Turn in your journal credentials.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
All
boy.
that to say, and
Fact
AXI is too busy committing war crimes, I'm sure, still murdering human NPCs to actually clear the third invasion system. So if you want to contribute, there is still a third system available to push back an invasion.
well, are they really murdering those NPCs or are they saving them from becoming Tharg monsters later?
Wow.
I think he quit murdering NPCs because he got in so much trouble last time.
Oh, what a quitter.
Mhm. Yep. And that's the latest from the Thargoid War. Thank you, champ.
Sounds good, boss. Nice
Holy
work.
crap, this thing is enormous.
All right,
Yeah.
so now it looks like Dev News.
That's what
is
she
what's
said.
next. Yeah,
Ah,
not to you. But Dev News. This week there was a fantastic FU came out where we got to learn about Planet Coaster for 45 minutes, and then they got into some elite stuff. And
Dax knows all about it.
Yeah.
all about it. Well,
Yeah. If you guys are going game for some silence, let me talk about FU.
let's first Trax made a good point when we were watching the FU that yes, we know that it's all Frontier stuff, so quit bitching that they're covering their other games first that probably make more money than Elite. So just deal with it.
I'm
everybody.
looking at you, younger elite people.
But it was really good. They revealed. Do we want to do this in any particular order? Do we want to talk about the new stuff, or do we want to review ships? What do we want to do?
Let's
Huh?
talk about Planet Coaster.
Yeah. No,
Oh, God.
not doing that.
God.
Absolutely not. Well,
You see the way that
let's
they
see.
could edit the lawn? That was so cool.
I did like that. It was nice. Good little details.
Yeah.
And your water slide. I mean, flume. Your flume.
It's all about the
Yeah.
lighting, isn't it? Isn't that what they're saying? You set up your lights properly and everything. Is
I don't know, but
Dear.
every time they say flume during the FUs, I put drink in all caps in there because they said flume.
should be
Dear
flume you.
God.
Yes.
Make it stop.
Yeah, and
I'm
then
having a
Planet
connection
Zoo was
problem.
in there, right, with Microsoft animals running around. Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a lot of that, and then they broke into. I'm trying to think of what they jumped into first. I say, well, I'm trying to decide which order we want to do stuff because there's so much stuff because we want to gush
I think the
about
order that we have listed in our dev news is probably the best way to do it.
You think so?
I
All
think
right.
so.
Well, let's talk about Powerplay 2 launched. I know Adaxius has been playing around with it. I haven't pledged to anybody or done anything. I know that our good buddy NLHate is in love with the new power Nakato Kaine, and just I don't know. He may be. He's
He's way past love. I don't even know what that is now.
That's probably why he's not here. He couldn't find his computer because he's blind. PowerPoint 2. Who's actually done some? Let's start with Adaxius because I know you have.
It's better than I thought it was going to be. I had very limited interaction with the original Powerplay. So much of it was such a headache. I didn't bother in like 6 years, and I'm totally like blown away by it because it's not that they added this big complicated system. It's that now everything you want to do in the game and every little piece that they have can contribute to a greater thing, and it's not minor faction related. It's all the like it's them covering all their bases they did in the Thargoid War and plugging it into Powerplay. So all the little chintzy stuff that never amounted to anything or credits weren't enough for motivation, like black boxes or like occupied escape pods, you can, as you're poking around the game, like dipping your toes into a bunch of different gameplay styles, it can all contribute. And you can pool together, but I picked some system on the edge of our space and I was like, how often does this map update? And like, can you track your individual numbers? And it wasn't much, but I had a few systems on the Galaxy map where I could see my contribution because I was like probably the only guy there. I love it. I can't stress. I did not give a single shit about Powerplay beforehand, but now I'm jazzed. I'm actually all about it.
Now, is this then because of the perks you get going for this stuff, or
the perks? What I've seen is they've in the what they did with modules, making it across the board, and they just come in a different order. Is they've added perks to the different power that you want, but they're kind of accessory. It seems like a lot of the credit bonuses, those are universal. The leaderboards are the same for each faction. So if you get on the leaderboard, you get a credit bonus. I think you get a material bonus as well. You can worm your way up to the full potential of what the specific bonuses for that faction are, like a boost to mining profits, exploration data. But it feels like most of the benefits are universal enough that what faction you pick is mostly, it's just kind of the icing on the cake. The cake seems the same for each faction. So you can pick based on like lore reasons or where you're located in the bubble, and you're going to get most of the benefit with just a little extra flavor if you go with something that has like a mining or an exploration benefit. And I really I did not care at all about the first iteration of Powerplay, but now because everything that you like doing can contribute, if you never wanted to do BGS or you floundered because you felt that there wasn't some goal to contribute to, absolutely sign up for a power and dip into it now. When I say I'm impressed, it's not because they did a ton of work or they added this big new revolutionary thing. It's just that they added they added glue between all the bricks they've had like 8 years to put in the game. I really like it.
Are you finding yourself harassed by the other powers at all yet or anything?
No. Not unless I'm choosing to be, which I really like. Bopping around loose screw space. I pledged to Mahone, mostly for like headcanon reasons. I don't like I don't know. That's again because it didn't make that big of a difference. But as I've been bopping around loose screw space, if I go like you'll get a heads up from all I've ever gotten yet is a heads up from an NPC. And then intentionally going to another system to kind of screw around. I had a ton of combat with alternate power ships that wasn't in a CZ. It was kind of organic, and it wasn't too challenging. A lot of the power NPCs are like expert or master level, which is fine because you don't have to be outfitted in your Corvette. Most of the missions for Powerplay I found are best in a medium ship anyway. But I got jumped by 4 anacondas. They were all kind of easy to take down, but that's a context of combat that the game never threw at me before because I was running a mission to get I forget some commodity for something. So I've only been doing it for like 2 days, so I don't want to make it sound too rosy in case a bunch of bugs come up, but I just love that it's more glue between all the good building blocks they've already put in the game.
How does the ranking work? Does that update live or weekly or what?
It's updated live for me, the first 2 ranks I got.
So you got 2 ranks now?
And the galaxy map updates, it's not a daily thing. In the galaxy map on each system, it'll say how many minutes it's been since that system's data has updated. I don't know if that's an API thing because I'm not running, what is that, ED Market Connector? But this, like the one little system I picked, it was like last updated 22 minutes ago. And then I did some missions. I came back to the computer later that day and I could see the impact I had made. It wasn't much, but it was there. So I think what they alluded to that the galaxy map is going to be able to give you an indication of what way it's going. I guess I was expecting a graph of some kind, and it doesn't have that. It has a progress bar, but that progress bar updates multiple times a day. So if you're really keyed in on it, yeah, it is neat. If you're really keyed in on it, you can like check the pulse of the system that you're working. I really like it. So right, I know I'm the go-to like shitpost meme guy, but like real talk, I'm actually really impressed.
No, nobody goes to you. You come to us. It's a big difference. Don't claim we ask for that. Has anybody else tried any of it at all?
I haven't yet. I am stuck because I really want to go Nakato Kaine so I can get the Concord cannons quickly because I really freaking want those. But at the same time, my head cannon of what my commander would always pledge to would be Antol, which would make it very hard to live in screw space since 90% of it is Liang-Ri. So I'm just on the fence still.
I mean, you could live in lesser screw space where we don't control anything.
Lesser screw space.
Yeah, you could live in the shit towns that Antol controls.
I don't want to move to Loose Screws Detroit, though.
I mean, 23 Andromeda is nice. The Space Cats control that, and they're cool people.
They are.
I don't think they're gonna. Try it. I don't think you get harassed too much. They took a few days to delay the release, and guaranteed it was because, like Burp had said, you were just getting like interdicted or hounded just sitting around on a planet's surface. I think they got rid of that, and I think they kept that dynamic in the stronghold systems of enemy powers because, of course, right? Like if you don't end up there on accident, and if you're pledged and you're going to the enemy base, I would expect that you're going to get hounded, just like we do in the Thargoid systems. You can't get where you're going to want to go without getting interdicted. So I think a lot of those mechanics were copied over, and I love it. I even like the map. So Trax, you can suck it. I even like the map.
By the way, Dax,
Well,
look
at
my ship. Watch what happens when you turn the lights off.
Dax, what they said in the FU was and you would know if you haven't been banned, is they dialed it back, the interdictions back, and said they're going to keep an eye on it, and said they may dial it back up. They're just going to watch and see how things are going.
Yeah, I haven't had too much trouble. The combat that I ran into was because I was getting in an instance to do something else, and it wasn't getting hounded immediately. I was like, oh shoot, there's an enemy there, and it's doable. I think they set the difficulty level having like the master and expert level NPCs where you can't just go AFK or sit there. You're gonna have to actually participate, but you're not gonna get slammed because you didn't bring your Corvette to go run BG or run Powerplay missions. Yeah,
and I think I recall they said they didn't dial it back, which makes sense in the strongholds. That whatever settings they have there remains the same. Yeah.
Now, did you visit Mycora, which is the Yang-Rui stronghold system in our space?
No, I can fly there now if you want to see what happens.
I was just curious if we have a stronghold base or a stronghold
I'll fly with you because I'm curious.
System in our in our space.
Yeah,
'cause,
so
we do.
we don't.
In that system, we do. That's the system I was
Yeah.
flying around. That stronghold
So-
there. Yeah.
okay, good. So we've got
Yeah.
one in our space.
I
Yes.
pledged Mahone, and Mahone is on the north end of Loose Screw space. There's a stronghold system that's close enough. The other thing that the stronghold carriers do, I think, is they carry all of the modules like Jameson does if you're in that power. I've got to confirm that. But
That's
they
what
I'm
I've
have,
heard.
pledging Young Rui
Yeah.
then because I got some ships to buy.
yeah. Also, this is a cool thing as far as applying the lore to the new system. Oh Jesus Christ.
Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy Jenkins.
You're doing great.
Jenkins.
Leroy Jenkins' whole thing is technology. I thought it was cool because in the benefit for them, if you get to max level with him, in his space, all your refuels, repairs, and rearms are free. And I thought that was a cool thing. He's the only power that has that. So there are cool benefits, and some people I know, there was this bug with the market and merits for trade profits. Some people already reached level 100 today. And I think that's why they dialed it back, because it was like,
that was the whole post they did about
yeah,
we're suspending getting that
Yeah.
with that for now.
yeah.
So stay tuned.
Exploration and marketing, yeah. And I think just give it a week or whatever. What I've played hasn't run into anything weird. I got the first 2 levels pretty easy, but again, if you haven't tried it, I totally vouch for it. I think this could really add a lot of longevity to the game in a way that the first version never did.
Okay. What do you think, Trax?
Well, my original complaints that there are no provisions for preventing systems from getting taken over or pushing powers out, except with other powers, remain. Like, I kind of think, like, if this is meant to interface with our whole Elite Dangerous Galaxy as a whole, as a sandbox, and like the way they talk about, letting the rules of the board game play out and take and lose influence and move around between systems and undermine each other and all this, the whole thing just falls flat because it's this fatal flaw, right? It's missing any pressure to not have a power in the system at all. So anyway, that remains. I still think it's a very valid point but I should say, like, at this point, I still have no intention of pledging after I'm going to hop on with Nakato Kaine for a second just to get those cannons and try out those Concord cannons, but
Level 34.
okay, that sounds pretty far in, but whatever. I'll give her a shot, I guess.
That might cause a fight with hate.
Nah, he's gonna have to share with thousands of other commanders, I assume. So, anyway, I will probably do that. Although I haven't started pledging yet. As I've thought about this some more, though, I think about, like, sort of what is the purpose of this whole thing? Like, what am I missing about it? And I kind of zoomed out and thought about it a little more yesterday. It's kind of like, I imagine what they were getting at was this galaxy is not very dangerous, right? There's really not a lot of consequence to anything. This is what got me, all this commentary that I'm hearing from various streamers and on Lave Radio and everything. The stuff about, like, we're not going to be able to have events anymore. You have to tell people to, like, unpledge, or you can't come if you're pledged if they don't fix this, and they're having to walk all this back. And it gets me thinking, like, what's the fucking point of any of it if you have to walk it back to the point where it doesn't matter if you're pledged anymore? Because then you may as well just not be pledged, right? And so I think this must have been the point of the thing from the beginning, is because it doesn't make any sense at all with the crime and punishment system. You've got these, like, power soldiers that will just attack you in wherever system you are, right? Because you belong to a different power. Like, 2 powers from the Empire will just attack each other for no fucking reason. And it doesn't make any sense. And the police are like, they don't care because it's power play stuff. So it's sort of like this other system that somehow doesn't really touch with crime and punishment. And it's just very, very it just doesn't make any internal sense, except that they must have created it thinking they need to have some system that you can basically sign up for that'll cause some consequence to happen with your choices, right? Because if I can be a king and a federal admiral or whatever the hell at the same time, and it doesn't matter, right? Like both superpowers are totally happy with me. I can be friendly with basically all the systems around. Becoming friendly with one doesn't make me unfriendly with another necessarily. And it's really hard. It's really easy to avoid that, at least. And there's just absolutely nothing stopping me, right? So Powerplay maybe was like conceived because it was like, well, we need to, we had to basically walk all this back so that people could explore the galaxy at their will and be able to do everything they want to do and not have to worry about it. Everything that everyone's talking about now, like, I can't pledge to a power because I don't want to limit where I can go in space, as I do my normal gameplay. So here's something that you can sign up for, and it's like, it is the flag that they comment on, like saying, I need a flag that's going to say, okay, right now I'm up for PvP, I'm up for engaging in combat, and then turn that flag off and say, okay, now I just want to like go about my way in the galaxy and do whatever without consequences. Like Powerplay is that flag. You can't have a version of Powerplay where you can turn that off, because that's what Powerplay is to begin with. So it seems like they've done a good job of kind of rebooting it all, making it more interesting and more fun if you're engaging in it, and trying to get back to what I imagine was this original core idea of there's consequences now, like sign up and you will be harassed. And that's the game, having to deal with something instead of just anything you want to do is fine. And like, if you get too close to something dangerous, you'll hit an exclusion zone instead of blowing up, you know what I mean? Or burning up. And so, now I see them like rolling back. I think it was a little extreme that you could just be anywhere and Powerplay soldiers would spawn and shoot you down. That does seem a little extreme, but at the same time, like, walk it back too much and we'll be back to what it was in Powerplay 1.0, where it's just pointless and
I think
it's just
gonna
moving
get up
pamphlets
again.
around.
I think they're just looking for that sweet spot, and they don't want it to be too, what's the word, dragon's breath out of the gate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I
mean,
think also
and
you're going to run. I think also you're going to run into a problem because, it reminds me of sort of the edition wars with Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, you have different people of different generations and maybe different kind of mores, playing this game, and so you have people who they want to fly their way and they don't necessarily want to commit, or they don't want the consequences of anything. They just kind of want it to be, they can kind of be in cruise control. And then there are those of us who are like, you know what? I don't mind a little bit of consequence, And so, if I'm in Yongrui and, on tall space all of a sudden becomes a little bit dangerous for me, that makes it okay. That makes it a little interesting and makes me rethink what I have to do when I'm doing what I have to do. If I'm doing things that are not power playing per se, but I'm fine with that. I'm the kind of guy where it's like, I don't mind, the old 1E Dungeons and Dragons rules where it's like save versus death. Oh, you're dead. Too bad. Not you get 3 death saves when you hit 0 hit points. And, the insta kill of the Tomb of Horrors is fine with me. And so, I know what I'm getting into there. And
The Tomb of Horrors.
the Tomb of Horrors. Everyone knows the Tomb of Horrors. And so,
do we?
It's like, how many of them got
Tomb of
killed in the
Horrors?
first 2 minutes of the module? Anyway, but okay, so if I'm going to on-tall space, all right, where it becomes now an area where it's like tread at my own peril, you know what? I'm totally good with that. So, I'm actually kind of interested in dipping my toe in it when I get to it. But I think, like I said, you kind of have sort of either a generational issue or kind of a cultural issue where you have people who don't want consequences, potentially kind of getting butthurt if, you create a new mechanism for the game where it's like, oh, there's all this fun things to do, but it comes with a price, and it's like, well, I want it consequence free, So
what do you think about this idea that like thinking about it from a high level,
Yeah.
this is this is a switch. If you want to turn on meaningful crime and punishment, sort of, I mean, it's not really that, but it's like if you want to basically live in a world where something you do might actually get you killed or just being in the wrong place. And I mean, sure, it doesn't really make internal sense. And like, why the hell would, Mahone and Mahone, I just think I just called somebody a football player's name, didn't I? Anyway, one power versus another power, and they're just gonna like shoot each other on sight.
Why the hell is Brett Favre fighting?
Oh, okay. But do you know what I mean? Like, like you can be in the galaxy and you can go wherever you want, and there's no consequences, and you can turn up to events and stack Cobras on top of each other, and nobody's going to bother you. Or, you can play a game in a galaxy that does have consequences, where things are dangerous, and if you go the wrong way, something. I do kind of long for some version of this game where, when you get too close to a star, you die because of it, and you have to actually think about things, and it's not going to totally hold your hand the whole time. I like the idea of that, but I know that it's in a large way antithetical to the way a lot of this game gets played and by a lot of people. So it's sign upable, right? It's like, sure, you can be a part of this if you want.
Well,
I'm
a couple
opt-in.
thoughts.
Yeah.
I know where you're, what you're saying, and I hadn't thought about it that way too much. Well, first off, going near a sun and dying, that would be interesting. But going near a black hole and uninstalling, that's how Adexis could log off every game. Go near a black hole and just fly into it.
Just deletes your drive data.
If I may
Everything.
interrupt, Daxi, would you like to do some science and see if the thruster cones that are pointing down damage you when I'm trying to land or take it off?
Absolutely.
Okay, but what you were saying, Trax, is it reminds me of when I first started playing this game, and we're super noob and, you're reading up on this game, and it talked about how there are consequences in the galaxy and stuff, and I thought that I was going to be dealing with that all the time on the original kind of, reviews I read of this game and the description of the game itself. So I think that this version of Powerplay is kind of more like the original vision of the game was supposed to be, that you had to pay attention to where you were flying instead of just, as you said, there are, Elite Dangerous wasn't exactly dangerous except for gankers. Now it can be, a more dangerous galaxy, and you can immerse yourself a little bit farther into it. And, I think from a new player's perspective, even if you join a power, because those perks would mean a lot to a newer player, a lot more than they mean to somebody like us. We can just be yeehaw, buckaroo banzai, fuck you, we'll do whatever we want, because we've got all the credits we can ever need, all the ships we can ever need, and we know what we're doing. A newer player, those perks are like, oh, I can fly without a rebuy, kind of thing.
Right.
And it does add a great layer to the galaxy. I mean, for me, this has been kind of a yawn. I've been busy, engineering 3 separate Mandalays for 3 separate purposes. Doing that, I haven't even looked at the power play yet, and I'm sure I will get to it eventually. And that's when I went to Adexis first, because that was the first thing he kind of jumped into. But I think what you were saying kind of brought me back to my original thoughts when I started playing this game, and this impression I had that it was going to be, and this kind of does that.
Yeah. And I still wish we could force them out of our system, but I realize that's not their vision, because they kind of feel like we should be able to ignore it if we don't want to play the game. And if you do want to play the game and cause those consequences, like being unpledged, like, listen, I think it would be fun to try to like keep Screw Space independent or whatever, but that wouldn't really add the kind of consequence that they're trying to add. So
but that's one thing we should mention just real quick though before you jump in is we have decided, like, that was something Ty talked about. He was actually talking about being here tonight, so I'm surprised.
Where is he?
But
he fucking blew us off, man.
Back when this first kind of started, he had talked about us. We'll always stay independent, yada yada, and we are for now. We'll watch it, and I like the idea of us being independent. But that doesn't mean that anybody who flies with us and stuff, we don't stop anybody from doing any activity they want to do.
Right.
You do what you want to do. So everybody, everybody in our thing could divide up equally and everybody pledge to a different power, you're not going to have any problems hanging out in our Discord and BSing with us. But
That'd
no,
be fun
we
in
are
the get-togethers, though.
definitely not at this point going to become some power play.
That's why it's
power.
important to be independent, because if we're not, then anyone who wants to like do BGS activities with us, I don't know. I don't really know how it's going to overlap. It sure seemed like it was going to overlap a ton the way they talked about it, but maybe it's almost nothing. I don't know.
We're going to.
I mean, I haven't seen anything weird on the BGS radar, but it's only been 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah,
Barely,
but I mean, if Lark, if you slap pledge with that dirty hippie over there in Ontal space, I'm coming after you.
Bring
Sorry.
it.
No, but I mean, I think that Trax brings up an interesting point about the idea of being independent and forcing an independent, being able to force independent space back. The big question is how do you do it? I mean, do you create a 13th perkless power?
Right.
That's no power. And then, okay, if you do that, do you start becoming hostile to literally everybody? I mean, is it like doing BGS in solo equivalent? I mean, it kind of raises questions of like, how would you create a mechanism of we're going to have a mechanism to undermine for independence? But so you're playing but not playing. So you're playing by a different set of rules than everyone else, because they actually built everyone else to be kind of, you play the same game. There's a little bit of different window dressing, but they're all basically the same, except Nakato. Hate, I know she's special, but the rest of them, they're all the same. So, but different. So, but yeah, but that's kind of the tricky thing, is it's either like you're basically playing in solo for BGS, or it's your power is no power, and that's the power, and it's kind of this. Well, you are playing the game, but you're playing it in a weird way.
Yeah,
kind of getting into metaphysics.
I don't have a solution to it either, but I kind of wish. I think in my vision for like. And it would be fully integrated with the galaxy, and you would have to have a system for actually undermining while being independent, and that would cause the power players to have to fight for their own power for real instead of just fight between themselves. And I think it could be quite nice, but I think it would require it to not be this extra layer that you sign up for, this extra layer of consequence. It would have to be like fully integrated, so it wouldn't serve the vision, right?
Right.
Yep. To me, it adds a little meat on the bone that the BGS didn't, because when you do the minor faction warfare and expanding one, you get some consequences. Like if you get enough negative reputation with another faction, they're hostile, and if you go to a station, you'll see that. But it's not. That's like easily avoided. And you can also pretty quickly boost.
It's narrow.
It's narrow in scope. You can also game the system by just boosting that inf back up enough with that other faction that they'll leave you alone. Yeah. This provides a bubble-wide framework that is easily visible on the map, has widespread implications, and yeah, it depends on how they dial up the NPC aggression or not. But for me, it provides that meat on the bone consequence of I've made a decision to go in with something that provides rewards, and now I have to keep my head at least passively on a swivel in the way that the BGS didn't quite do that. So that's what it does for me. Is I want the game to have consequence. We're all in-game players. For God's sake, we got a podcast for it, right? We've been around the block.
Is that what we're doing?
Money stopped, credits stopped meaning anything to me literally years ago in the game. But what never stops having meaning in a game is consequences. And whether or not you can afford a rebuy doesn't mean anything if you get the gameplay of, oh shit, I got blowed up and I brought it on myself. So for me, it's that it's this permanent incentive and this permanent dynamic you can have with the game, regardless of credits or any other material metric in the game. And I like that it at least provides a framework for that. They can tweak the numbers later, but that's what I like about it.
And I do like to give you a company car.
Sorry, Oblivious is trying to cut in here for like
Oblivious. Your turn.
So beside the company car, so actually I agree with that, because I found myself getting aggravated with BGS missions that sit there and tell you that, okay, we know you're coming and we're sending people after you, and no one interdicts you on the mission. I get pissed off about it. I'm just like, bring it. I want to see it. On the flip side of that, though, I don't want the interdiction mechanic to be like the AX mechanic that I get interdicted 17 times on the way to a Titan. That gets
Yeah.
old real quick. So
Yeah.
I want to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I'd say join at power. Go to an opposing stronghold system and see how it is. I have not been interdicted. I have not been proactively interdicted in other powers systems that were not a stronghold system. So we'll see how that plays out.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
We can put a fork in power play for now because I think
Yeah.
we'll actually
think
be
so.
coming back to
Yeah.
this
Early
again
days.
in a little bit.
Two of them.
Well, let's jump in right now. Let's talk about what we've hinted at a few times. The Mandalay. All right.
It sucks.
I'm just gonna throw it out there, and you guys argue about who wants to talk about it. Go.
Well, I'll tell you all the true answers. Are you ready?
Let's hear. Yeah, go ahead. You first.
It's a great ship, as we knew it would be. What makes a great explorer is being pretty lightweight, but otherwise being a multi-purpose ship. So, and the thing they didn't have to do was make it stunningly maneuverable, and especially in Super Cruise, although they really should have, and they did. So. Yeah, it's fantastic, but it does have it has shortcomings. It seems like it doesn't because it's so maneuverable and so suited to multi-purpose roles because of the great internals, but it's got very thin armor. The shields don't get very big no matter what, and the distributor is very small to have that many hard points, although you can make them work if you use weapons that aren't too power hungry,
Like
so
cannons.
like there's a lot of fun options. You can kick a lot of ass with it, but you got to manage those pips. And yeah, it'll be fun for AX as well. It's not like it's going to be a powerhouse. It's going to be a little challenge ship, but it'll be fun. And the boost is so it's so like off the chart because you got to be careful in combat. You boost and you almost ruin your whole situation there. So that's what I've found anyway so far. Too fast.
Yeah, it's got Mamba type kick in the ass when you boost.
It is
Yeah.
so kicky of a boost.
The audio is great. The video is great. What do you want? I gave them money. I bought the whole thing with the kit and then I bought an extra paint job so that I was sure mine wasn't going to be the same red as everybody else's.
Same,
it.
and I think my favorite, and this is just a small stupid detail that they didn't even have to do about the Mandalay, is there's two as he crashes into tracks.
Nope, he blew right up.
Thin armor.
No, it was an
Anyways,
Asp
go
Explorer.
on.
He just blew
Go
up
on.
his ass.
Anyways,
Explorer.
my favorite little thing about the Mandalay, and this is just a stupid detail, it has 4 forward headlights on it. And the outer 2, which are just in front of where the nameplate is, they waggle in and out. So if the lights are off, they go in like a freaking 90s Toyota. And if you deploy the lights, they come out.
90s Toyota? Not
Wow.
like a Corvette?
Not like a 60s Corvette. Yeah.
I don't know. Those stupid 80s style headlights were the first thing that popped into my head.
So that means only
Oh,
one
my
of them
sweet
goes
summer
in.
child.
Anyways, but yeah, it's a stupid little detail, but I love it so much.
Yeah. Did you
Those are
put
the
clean
kinds of
drives
things
on it?
that my brain gets dopamine from. I'm sorry. I can't help it.
That's outstanding. All right, so we've got Lark Shadow, Tracks, Oblivious. You can go next. What do you think?
I don't think I have anything else to add to it. I'm still fixated on the headlights right now. I'm just wondering if we can just make one of them come on and not the other, and that would drive Lark crazy.
Yeah, well, they alternate.
Yeah, exactly.
Just shoot one out.
If it's
Yeah.
really cold, the left one comes up, but if it's
Like
a really
a-
warm day, only the right one comes up.
1993 Fiero or whatever.
Right. Right. But I think I talked about it in the Discord earlier too. The thruster control FA off as far as landing is concerned. I'm finding it's much more precise, much easier. I'm finding it easier to land FA off with this thing over any other ship that I've got. But I don't have a lot of different ships, so
It's the same mass and thruster size as a Vulture,
Vulture.
but it's a medium ship. So it's much
Why
bigger.
it's so freaking twitchy.
But that's where I mean, it performs, like, it changes vector so well. Yeah.
Bloomingland, what do you think?
I mean, I haven't had a chance to buy one yet. I did the thought experiment.
Well, then shut up. We'll move on to no, just kidding. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm a little busy. So I kind of did the thought experiment on the Coriolis Beta, and the jump alley is completely stripped down, as lightweight as humanly possible. We'll get a maximum jump of about 91 light years, and with a full tank of gas, it'll go 83.9 light years. So it does beat the Jumpaconda by a little bit. So that's kind of cool.
That's amazing for what you get out of it.
Said.
Yeah, I can't wait to buy a few of them. I may do that tonight after I run a fly a few CZs and V6 V2151 Cygni, and other people could do that too and free me up so I can go do other things. But yeah, no, I'm actually kind of excited to do a few different things with it than just simply explore.
All right, I got one more for you. So one of the systems I've been messing with, it's 136 light years out from the star, and it's the first time I got into Mandalay and pointed in that direction. It just sipped the fuel, just a fraction of the fuel. It barely moves at all. You don't have you can go completely hands off after you point it, and manages heat just perfectly. And so any of those missions you passed in your past life, because they're out there, this ship's gonna kick ass on them. So.
For sure. Axios, what do you got? I know you haven't flown it yet.
I bought the arcs for it, and I haven't bought the ship yet.
Well, what the fuck are you waiting for?
I'm learning from you, buddy.
One day at a time.
Good call.
Good
call.
I'll wait around long enough to where I just have to get it in game.
Oh, yeah.
No, I just saw for the first time on the planet surface, the outside engines on the wings, they fully articulate with your vector.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Take my money, Frontier.
Yeah, I'll say
I'm
this.
very impressed.
Yeah, I've been Phantom. Everybody knows the Phantom's been my ship for a while, but I've
long time.
I've owned every ship, and I've done a lot of stuff in a lot of ships, and this is the first time I've been genuinely excited about a new ship. This thing is absolutely ridiculous. From I just brought it into a Hazres last night just to give it a shakedown, and I literally did not put. I threw railguns, 4 size 2 railguns on it, and a couple fixed
poor
beam
distributor.
lasers. Yeah, exactly. But if you know,
Did
what
you have
you're
to
doing,
stagger them?
I did not. But being AX pilot, I have no problem with my heat being 120, 130, and waiting for it to come down a little bit. I guess that doesn't faze me at all. When you're going to run out of ammo on the railguns before that amount of heat is going to do any real damage to your internals, so you're going to be going to rearm and reload anyway. So that didn't bother me too much. And if you're pacing your fire and stuff, it wasn't bad. I mean, I took on, I didn't take on anything ridiculous, but I took on a couple Wings of 2 with either a deadly or a dangerous anaconda mixed in, and I was able to take on Wings of 2 with it pretty easily. But then again, the thing boosts to 590, and I can hit shit from 6 kilometers away with those railguns. So it was perfectly safe. I think it would be fun as hell in a group, with that setup, in CZs, because I could be, with super pen railguns taking out power plants and drives and crap pretty easily. So I mean, yeah, it was ridiculous. For a non-combat ship, it is very, very capable of being a combat ship, which is fun.
You can't be lazy in combat with it. That's
No,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
if you're just
it's
you
not
can't just
as tough as
face
like a
tank enemy
gunship.
it's
fire.
not a
Stuff like
Corvette. Yeah. Second thing, Oblivious mentioned, the FA off. I a few times was like checking to see if I was still FA off because this thing flew so steady and FA off. I'm like flying and I'm like, this is weird how steady it is, while yet being incredibly twitchy and the yaw and everything else. Now, people talk about, explorer ships, the most important thing for an explorer ship. For me, hands down on an explorer is its ability to turn in super cruise. This thing turns like, Trax said it best, like a sidewinder in normal space, as far as how fast it turns in super cruise, which is mind-boggling. So if you have to do a loop of shame, you can turn around really fast. It's not like a Anaconda where you're going back around the sun to come back and you'll get there faster. This thing, you can loop yourself around very, very quickly, and it's just weird that just being a ship that's fully not a stripped down, super stripped down. My Explorer I set up here, with with an SRV and everything else, not, things are, a lot of D-rated stuff and undersized distributor, the Explorer stuff you do, because there's certain things you just don't need in deep space, but I'm jumping 80 with this thing without going crazy on the stripping down. So this thing is, it's ridiculous. I can't wait to see. I haven't tried to land it on a planet yet, so I can't wait to see the footprint of how it lands, see if it's easier to find landing spots in mountainous terrain. That the Phantom can be a real pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But
This
I'm
thing
excited to get out with
almost
it.
lands like a small ship, man.
It's
If
so
you
high
can find
up.
a smooth patch, you can put it down there.
Yeah, it's so
I think
high up.
I think it might be pretty close to like a vulture footprint.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah, it's
this thing's no more long. It's not loop of shame anymore. You're doing it to be cool.
Yeah, it's a tactical loop. You're just doing a loop.
Tactical loop of shame.
No shame,
Yeah,
just tactical loop.
I've got I already have, like I said, I set one up for CZ, fully engineered G5, got all the experimentals and stuff on it. And that one I was going to turn into my AX chip, but I had so much fun with it that I'm going to just have that one sitting around for if we get together for a CZ night. Then I have my Explorer one is now fully set up and fully engineered. I flew around, got all the experimentals, everything done on it. And I'm working on my AX one right now because I'm going to get out our buddy Scotty's already killed a Hydra with it, so it is very.
Way to go,
very
Scotty.
capable.
Yes.
There's Scotty.
Good job, man.
So now I've got to go out and kill a Hydra with it just because, damn, that sounds like fun.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but I'm going to admit right now, I'm going to go do a Medusa first just because I haven't soloed interceptors in a while. I'll have to shake the rust off, but if I can do a Medusa without too much issue, then I'll go do a Hydra. Hydras are they're just so punitive though.
Yeah, with this ship, you gotta do 2 medium, 2 small.
Yeah, and it's a commitment.
So it takes a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So it's when I want to find an hour to go do that. I'll
Right.
get to that. But yeah, but I'm looking forward to going out and testing it solo on some interceptors and stuff because it is a joy to fly. I assume it orbits very well just because of everything else it seems to do well. I'm assuming it's going to be an easy one to put into orbit.
Yeah. It looks like it feels like it's going to be a little. It's going to take some discipline. Because you will, if you're not breaking your boosts, you will really screw yourself up by trying to boost orbit. So,
But it
if you can
definitely feels like
if
it's
you
a
can
non-boost
absolutely,
orbiter.
if you can not absolutely not touch the boost, like you can pull it off. But
whereas like the
it all
crates
depends.
have to boost to orbit properly.
Obligate boost orbiter. Yeah. I'm used to see
The
ships
Chieftain's
that,
easy. Yeah.
yeah, it's close to this is close to that. I mean, it definitely
Very much
turns
so.
faster than a chieftain, but it's just the change in direction and something. I think it's like coming close to outclassing the Diamondback Scout, which is kind of
That's saying
ridiculous.
something because the DBS is
Yeah.
nuts.
And
Has
that one
anybody
has
tried to
and
see how
actually has some
cold
boost
it makes
lag.
this thing to run? I haven't seen.
Well,
played
that's
with
the
that
thing
yet.
because it's so low mass. Like your guns are really punishing low mass and a small distributor. Your guns are really punishing on heat. So we'll have to like math wise. I can tell you will have to double sync to use shards on it. But that might work because so heat sinks provide a small amount of energy to your weapons distributor during the time that they're running. Secret game fact. So that, with 2 sinks, you probably be able, so it gets expensive with a heat sink synth thing, but yeah, you can load up 4 heat sinks on this if you can. Skilled AX pilot, you go without a neutralizer and just make sure you don't need it. You could.
But I mean, these days, these heatsink launchers that we have hold extra.
They hold
sinks.
5.
So, yeah,
and so you'll have 20 heat sinks.
Yeah.
So can
insane.
you do it? Yeah, let's see. So if I went for it and did like mod shards, 4 size 2 mod shards, double sinks. I have 20 heat sinks, which means I have 10 heat sinks. Do you think I can exert and kill a Hydra Heart in that amount of time, or am I going to have to synth heat sinks while I'm on the attack run?
You're probably, I don't know. That's what I want to go out and find out. That's what I'm excited to give a try and see what it's actually like.
Right. Yeah, but you can probably do it with Gauss, because Gauss has the better armor penetration.
Yeah,
it's probably the better weapon for a Hydra, but
always has been.
On this ship, it is definitely, because the smaller size shards have really bad armor penetration, but that doesn't happen to Gauss. So, okay, now I'm getting off.
Yeah. All right. No. All right. So, all right. I think we've covered the Mandalay. Now let's move on.
Hold on. One last thing. Lest
You haven't
you
even
forget
thought it yet.
the in-game ship model. You can run up the stairs all the way to the door.
But you can't walk through it.
Who
Now,
cares?
what does that say? Now, what does that say about future ship design and potential future features? I'm not going to say.
Oh,
But you can run up the stairs all the way to the door.
Get to the door and say the password. See if it opens. Mandy. You say Mandy.
Braben, what's the Elvish word for friend?
Oh my god! Can we move on?
Yeah, we can move on.
All right. So the next thing, we'll do the next ship first because we're on the ship talk first. First, I want to bring up the Type 8. They've announced when that will be available for credits, November 28th. A lot of people thought it would be when this ship launched, that would be available for credits, but that's November 28th. You'll be able to buy your Type 8 if you didn't buy it for ARCs, which I did not. I've kind of...
Me either.
Waiting. And I want to say something. On the release order of these ships, this should have been the last one released, in my opinion, just because it's such a beautiful piece of work.
Oh, man.
But
Set the bar high for
there's a
Cobra.
reason. There's a reason for this. Is they released the Python, which was an updated Python, right?
Mhm.
It was a Mark. They went Mark II, right? And now the new ship is the Cobra Mark V. So we get another Cobra. Before we talk about how awesome it looks and stuff, I think they should have went that Mark +1s. And then these new ships would have been a cool way to go. But I don't know why the Cobra Mark V is the finale for this. But you guys,
because
who love
lots of
Cobras,
people wanted the
are gonna
Cobra
stay.
Mark IV and couldn't get it, if I had to guess.
No, man, because it's not
Here
dedicated.
comes.
Because it's a multi-purpose.
Here comes.
All the other
So
ones
it's
are like
Explorer, is what you're saying?
they're like they all have a niche, or they're trying to anyway.
Yeah.
And this one's not going to.
Well, they should have.
So I will say the
opened with
Cobra
that.
Mark V, like if you look at the cockpit glass on the screenshots that have been released, it looks like it's about the size of an Asp Explorer or an Asp Scout. Like it's somewhere in that size, if I had to guess.
Well, it's a medium-sized ship compared to the smalls that the 3 and the 4 were small
Right.
ships. This is a medium ship, which all 4 ships is notable. Were medium ships. That's where the meta is. I can't believe that Lark even flies medium ships. But
Never again.
That's it, uninstalling.
but
Good man.
But this thing, it is sexy as hell. It looks like I don't know, like Lamborghini decided to make a Cobra.
It looks like they took a Cobra 3 and then another Cobra 3 and split it in half. You know when they are doing like crab and they just eviscerate them on the boat?
It's a kit bash. Yeah.
It's like they did that to a second Cobra and then stuck the sides onto the first Cobra.
But it definitely has some Viper ancestors somewhere in their blood. Some great grandma banged a Viper at some point.
No,
I'll
I
be
would have
the-
said they
oh.
took a Cobra and split it in half and put either side on the side of a Viper Mark 3 or 4.
They dressed up a Cobra for a night out in the town. I'll be the first one to say that. But Cobra Mark 3 is probably my favorite ship in the game. Probably the one I've spent the most time
Anaconda,
in.
you liar.
That's the one I just put on for funsies. No, it's really at the end of the day, it's the Cobra. And I've yearned for a medium ship that kind of has that same feel. And the Python and the crates, it's just a feel thing. They don't quite cut it. I am very excited for the Cobra Mark 5.
I expect
did
to be blown
hear-
away.
No.
Did I hear correct? They said it's going to be a different cockpit design.
Yes.
Yes.
The
Oh, yeah,
first
it's
one
a
to get a
three-seater.
whole new cockpit.
Yeah. Whole new cockpit.
Yeah.
And I think the reason they did that is because the Cobra is the poster boy of their game.
No, for sure.
So
Mhm.
it's special.
It'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see the build out too. But it's going to be a small medium. So like the
Yeah,
types.
I have big S. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It does look for the wedge ships, it looks pretty damn badass, I'll tell you that.
Well, would like have headlights on like a '69 Volkswagen.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I just flew to
And
the
the engines in the
stronghold.
back.
I just flew to the stronghold system of an opposing power. Yes, the moment they see you, they will blow you up.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Really?
when
yeah.
I see a ship like the Cobra Mark 5 that looks like a stealth fighter, I'm like, man, engineer that baby cold as ice, and that's how you go screw with the other stronghold carriers.
Okay. So.
Yep.
What if? So, we've been hearing about we're going to go do some scavenger hunts in Titan space to improve cold running technology, but we're on the last Titan. So, is that for AX, or is that going to play into blockade running and power play too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If they can't scan you under 20% heat, if you're at the enemy stronghold carrier, they can't scan you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
being cold, it does significantly reduce the range at which you can be detected. So
Yeah, I flew around for about 3 minutes before I intentionally got closer, and they were like, "Whoa, who's that?"
you have the wrong color bandana, friend.
See, now I want to pledge to a power, get in my Diamondback Scout, which shieldless runs at 12% heat while I'm
Yeah.
boosting, and see how close I can get before they freak out.
I have a scout that's engineered and called Ice Veins, and I think it sits comfortably at like 14% heat.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
there's also this the new ship kit bits, which are like holograms that can attach to your ships. That's kind of a
those
cool
are pretty
idea.
cool.
Oh, I hope you can
Awesome.
hack those.
hack them
No, you
holo
can
screens like the Powerplay can.
Yeah, you can hack the holo screens and stations now. I've
Yeah,
interacted
but
with that, though.
I want to do the hollow screens on the ships. You know, like
Yeah, find some
put
unsuspecting
one that
players.
says "Kick me" on Daxy's ship.
Chasing down Bolt in his T8
What's going
trying to
on,
change
guys? You got to pick on me.
Well, there's reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm scratching my back. All right. What are we moving on to? Are we going to talk about this some more, or we want to jump into the new feature now?
It's
New
new features. New
It's
features.
new features.
All right. Who wants to unveil it?
I will, because this is the reason Ty might have been here tonight and is online but not here. I don't know what's going on. Hi, Ty, if you're listening. But the new feature is colonization of systems that do not have human population in them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
The galaxy's ours.
So the
So I
bubble, which
noticed
has been
the
stagnant
people-
for so long is about to grow.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed on the stream the people with English accents were careful to say that you can't colonize places that already have a human population, which is good. I think that's a good look historically
Make it stop.
for them to say, for them to
just
really be
got it.
hardlined about that.
Oh, man.
You know.
Yeah.
But anyway,
We've got
go
nothing
on.
but
So
deep history
You mean our
for
friends that are
those-
one island away from the sun finally setting on their empire?
Oh my God.
I'm gonna get in trouble. aren't I?
In lot of previous mistakes, you can only touch systems with no people. What?
I'm sure they They stole the word Tottenham from somebody. Jesus.
That's okay. When
No,
the English
no.
swearing starts, we can just switch to the 1920s news anchor accent.
No shaking up and talking. Well, you got to go out to Sony Fly UTAC D5 DTAC 17.
All right, so there isn't much revealed about it yet, but they are planning to have guest devs on the next FU to tell us more about it, and that'll be fun. But I mean, yeah, except they said stuff like within range, expanding within range, but didn't describe what that range was. Is it BGS range? Or are we able to do longer hops than that? Because that was sort of. I feel like the ships that they showed off, right? The construction ships, the construction airship, like all that looks really cool. I like the way the landing pads are right around. It's almost like the big cities on a surface, except it's in space, and they don't have a concourse. Cool ideas. I like this.
Current power play distance is 30 light years from any system. As far as the distance they put into Powerplay 2.0.
That's longer than BGS, right?
Yeah, it's longer. BGS is a cube, and it's 10 kilometers on the side?
20,
cube of
20 light years on the side.
20 light years? Yeah.
I mean,
so
you guys
technically
are
almost 15 at the corner.
Yeah.
super excited about this, aren't you? And people are planning trips to Colonia and all kinds of crazy shit.
Dude, I'm
not just excited for this. I'm really, really interested to see what happens in Colonia when this hits.
Right. It's not just your name on a system anymore, and you did the disembark animation to get a first footfall. You get say in what assets show up. It's that sense of ownership that glues the whole game together. How else do you get to people to play a game for 8, 9, 10 years? You get to choose what assets show up. More than likely, you did the work to get the assets there. There's so many systems on the fringe of the bubble that we can spread into. And the game averages 5,000 players a day. It is just cemented. It is actually cementing in-game assets as far as your effort and your time you invested in the game.
Not only that, but there are systems even just within Screw Space. And I looked at the air quote bubble of other factions around us, like Burpit and stuff like that. They've got unpopulated systems in their space.
There's
too,
thousands within the bubble, unpopulated systems. That's what I'm thinking. Is most of this isn't going to be spreading the bubble because the universe or this galaxy is just so freaking big, going out 30 light years at a time and everywhere is going to be super hard. I honestly think, that's what everybody's brain went to. But I think most of this is going to be just, within the bubble, adding more systems. And that's just going to be more systems that you need to, that you need to manage with your BGS.
If Andromeda is going to be, I want to get Andromeda is going to be my seat of power.
Yeah.
It's mine.
I want to get out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Well, it does seem to make sense, though, that it's got to be systems that are within some reasonable range to allow for commerce.
Mm-hmm.
So because and a dumb question is there powers in Colonia?
Not currently.
No.
Right now.
But they specifically they did say that it would dovetail with Powerplay 2, that the powers can follow the populated systems out there.
It's going to be fun to watch the powers race for the freaking Colonia bridge.
The denizens of Colonia will be quite upset if that happens.
Yes, they
because
will.
That's one of the things they very much like about Colonia, and with no way to prevent a power from taking you over or force one out.
Power the power's going to get to Colonia.
Trex does a callback.
Yep.
I mean, the whole thing is, if the powers are going to follow outward, how long is it going to take a power, hopping from spot to spot on the Colonia bridge?
Forever.
Literally. Even as you're expanding systems, the Digitames, it's going to be forever.
Hold up, just for reference, EVE Online has been 20 years in the making, and they have the mechanics so that players can call the shots and put in game assets. That game is going strong after 20 years. We are only just coming up to 10.
Yep.
I think this could give the game a real lifetime.
Absolutely, because there are crazy players like me and Daxi that used to play EVE that'll take this colonization thing and just run with it.
Yeah. It's as you give people like the little bit of the space that they can carve out and they can label in game as their own and put meat on the bone, and that gets people hooked. So I think I got a lot of faith in it.
All right, glad you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm also skeptical. I don't know. Whatever, we'll see.
All I'm saying is there's
do-
probably a player faction at the very edge of the bubble that is very excited about this.
I do
Long
like
and they're
how,
not.
I do like how we were all guessing, and of course, base building was what a lot of people are saying. We need to have base building. We need to have base building. And I would like to think all the effed up people were all sitting back there listening to that, going, "Hold my beer."
Yeah.
When they unveiled it, the chat on Twitch turned into a freaking hyperspace blur. It was just boom.
It was all the Planet Coaster players saying, "We don't care. What the heck do I care about this?" Stupid.
You wouldn't know.
Can't even put roller coasters.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very skeptical about what this is actually going to be. But then again, anything they add to this game, I've always said, is always adding something else to the game, but is always never enough. So I'm happy that they're adding something else. But the whole concept here, it reminds me of when they were first talking about fleet carriers. We're gonna have whatever those kinder ships and all this other stuff going on. You know, I think that this is it's ambitious.
A lot can change.
But to me, it sounds like if you're going into a system and this is new, this is just 100% speculation, is it's going to be a multi-week, multi-month process getting these bases set up. So the idea that this is going to expand across the galaxy or from exactly, it's going to be months, because you're going to be bringing supplies and doing this and it sounds like the type of cargo and stuff that you're bringing in will determine the type of system that you're making, kind of, and all of that. So
type
it's
of
going to be a
stations
long
that
process.
you pick.
Exactly, and you're going to be building
you get to pick like which ones kind of go where, and those
Goldenized T8s are standing by.
Yeah, so when you're talking, extending a bridge of inhabited systems all the way to Colonia, 22,000 light years away, with each of these systems taking, a certain amount of time. And who knows what the rules are going to be on the systems that you can go to. Is it going to be certain star types? Is it going to need terraformable planets that justify the cost? Those kind of things. We just don't know. So we just got to kind of wait and see what's going to come of it. It would be cool, though, if it is a relatively faster process, or this attracts a whole new player base coming in because they're excited about the idea and it really takes off, and then people are going out and all of a sudden they're coming across systems you discovered, and your name is on that system as the first discoverer. There's things like that could get kind of neat, but I'm gonna just hold out any judgment on it until I like I said, I have zero excitement for it right now, because it just is so nebulous. I gotta wait and see where they go with it, because I know it's gonna change a lot between now and implementation, whenever that is, 3 years from now.
Cautiously optimistic.
It could end. It's the kind of thing that could be a lot of nothing, but it could be something that feels. What am I trying to say here? There are things that they put in this game that sort of, it's like, without this, the galaxy was pointless. You know what I mean? It's like, once we have it, it'll be like, you remember when we couldn't do that? It's like, how pointless was that? Right. Weirdly, like I sort of feel that way about on Elite Feet. Like, I think not being able to get out of your pilot seat like feels so stupid, and so like, how is this a sim in the first place? If this is a giant galaxy, how come I can't get out of my seat? Although, in my opinion, like, that whole content is still largely like an unconnected flop. So it's like, without it being there, the galaxy feels pointless, or feels like it's missing a whole aspect of reality. But it didn't really get connected to the game. So, the colonization comes in, and it's like, oh my God, yes, of course. Why, of course we should be able to do this and add stations to systems and shape the galaxy. but like, what does that end up meaning? You know, I mean, I assume it'll be tied in with BGS and stuff like that, so it probably will have meaning. But the slight worry there that just ends up being something that's a pointless vanity project, essentially. Like, well, this is my station, and then it's like once that's set up, it like, whatever, it has a trade board that you can't really do anything with, and
but there's always,
I guess it'll populate with factions.
There's always unforeseen problems. Think about this, for instance. You begin to expand. I assume you're probably going to be able to name your system, which will be awesome. Wiener McWiener will probably be a system. And they'll have to
Oh God, how will they do that?
Yeah, no, you can't do that. No, but let's get off that. Let me just mention that.
Please don't do that.
No, that people will be able to name it, but I'm sure there's going to be
system
same thing with
system face.
There's going to be.
Oh my God.
They're going to limit what you can do, obviously, but these are going to become part of Powerplay and BGS. So let's say you do start this new system. How soon before another BGS wants to take it from you?
Right.
And harass you out of it, and then people are complaining about that. It's like, we worked so hard to do this. Why are they allowed to do that? But if they just lock it to you, that is
that's when it's pointless.
The whole thing. Exactly. So
it's a trap. Yeah.
It's issues like that are so unforeseen that's why I'm in a wait and see mode, because there's going to be so many little things like that are just going to cause people. Well, people are going to bitch no matter what they do, but it's going to be.
I'm already bitching.
Yeah, you can hear me.
Drax is over here doing a pre-bitch.
Yeah. Now, can I be the devil's avocado, since I'm actually really incredibly excited about this? Like, so much more excited about this than I am about PowerPoint 2.0.
But wait, let me just bring this up first. You're already the guy who struggles to handle our BGS. If also we start expanding into more systems, that's just more systems that you got to control with the BGS. Just throwing that out there. Go.
You're so mean.
Yes. He's totally big.
Did not mean to crush dreams. No, carry on.
You're already the guy that sucks at his job. What makes you think you can have two?
And the words of that. In the words of that admiral on Return of the Jedi talking to Darth Vader, I need more.
It's a trap. Oh, wrong guy.
Wrong guy. Other admiral. The Imperial admiral. Anyway, the thing that I enjoy most about this game is building something. Okay, which is why I love BGS. Is that, I love the idea that we kind of started at a certain point and then, we've expanded to other worlds. Now, people like to kick over sandcastles, and that's how they get their joy out of the game, and that frustrates the absolute utter living crap out of me. But people like what they like, and so at the end of the day, you can't stop them. If someone wants to piss in your cornflakes, they're going to piss in your cornflakes. But just the idea of building something, of colonization, just to me, that really resonates with me as part of the game. Is okay, I built this little mini bubble. The game was kind of static. We have the main bubble, we've got Colonia, got the Pleiades, Witchhead Nebula. They expanded into the Coalsack, after I started playing, which was like, oh, there's a new place that we didn't really have anything before. And, there's these little things pockmarked all across the galaxy. But sort of the idea I always had was like, it would be really cool if I could build my own baby bubble somewhere. Somewhere, somehow. And when they introduced this, it was a component that I was really excited about. Sure, could somebody come follow in our footsteps and, piss in our cornflakes every step of the way that we're colonizing? Absolutely, that could happen. I can't stop them. We can't stop them. But, still, at least I can kind of look at that, burning dumpster fire and say, I built that burning dumpster fire before it became a dumpster fire. So, like I said, it's the part of the game that kind of brings me the most joy, so yeah, I get the crap frustrated out of me when it's going sideways. But
these systems will be low population too to begin with, so very manipulatable.
Yeah, if you think about Kalarim, I'll just name the system. It was a dumpster fire.
No, we're not talking about that system. Stop.
No, we don't.
No.
Call us something else.
We're not subtweeting anybody.
Oh, fine. I'm just saying it was a dumpster fire before we got there. All we did when we were there was close the lid.
Yeah.
Well, just realize.
No, we really fanned that fire, didn't we?
No,
that's
stop. We're not talking about it.
We're
not
done.
talking about it. We're done.
The first system we make is going to be named Calarum 2.
Calarum 2.
Calarum.
New cologne.
All right, now my apologies to everybody who was excited. Didn't mean to be Debbie Downer. That's just my feeling. And Blooming Wind has said why he's excited about the whole thing. So it's awesome. At least we'll have
I think
Mandy
it's a
to
good
fly
idea.
around
I'm
it.
excited too.
I actually do think it's a good idea. I was afraid it was going to be base building, so I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Most of
this
these
is
guys
the
think this is base
instancing.
building.
It's the instancing with base building in existing worlds, like it's existing systems. That would be, I mean, like whenever you have 139 fleet carriers somewhere, just imagine 139 people just trying to put their own little town on a planet in Sol or something. I mean,
Right.
Right.
I think this is the version of base building that makes sense for this game, right?
Mhm.
So I'm kind of making a joke, but when people were talking about like, oh, the leaks and the somebody hacked the files, the blah blah blah, it's going to be base building for sure. There's all these references. I'm thinking about like Fallout 4. And like, oh, and I put my walls around, and then I can build a crafting table. And if I put the water source here, then the people will come. And if I come back a week later and, oh, they're unhappy because they don't have enough electricity. And I'm like, oh my God, there's no chance in hell I would ever even think about engaging with that total nonsense. And I get like there are whole games based around this. My wife likes a lot of these kinds of games where you're like building a house or whatever. So like I get that that's a thing,
Planet
but I
Coaster,
sincerely,
Planet Zoo.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
that's-
recruiting
yeah.
a bunch of Planet
I mean,
Coaster players right now.
I frankly like those
would
make a
love
little
that.
more sense to me, but anyway, I with base building, that's what I'm thinking. That's what's going on in my mind. But this is much cooler and makes more sense, and I'm not going to be placing walls around somewhere.
The base is your system. And cool. We have how many, like hundreds of millions in the game? So, yeah, I think the scale they picked is right.
I don't know. I think they should have just let us put zoos and amusement parks all over the galaxy. That would have been interesting. Then would have given people a reason to get out of their ships and walk around on foot. Tracks could have finally been like, yes, that new roller coaster on that, 0.1G planet. That thing is so cool. So
Yeah.
Hey,
It's like the feet come out, and I was like, oh, damn, I wish it was atmospheric worlds, but I mean, this really does tie the whole universe together, so I guess. And then it's like a new feature. Oh, it's colonization. I'm like, oh, damn, I really wish it was atmospheric worlds, but this really ties the universe together and makes it feel complete. So I guess I'll wait for the next one.
So what they really
Talk.
need is just a really nice rug and
Trax, you never get out of your ship anyway. You're saying if there was atmospheric worlds, that would be what does it?
No, I'm saying I would rather have atmospheric worlds than get a. I'm saying that's what I wished Odyssey was atmospheric worlds, but it wasn't. And that's what I wish this feature was, but it wasn't.
Yep.
And each of these things, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Whatever. I got the fuck out of my ship this afternoon for you to show
Yeah,
you
you
the
did.
goddamn Mandalay. Get off my back.
I loved your level 1 Maverick suit. Odyssey came out 2 years ago.
That's a level 5 Maverick suit, you total dingus. This is the precisely upgraded enough to do those Thargoid like reactivation missions.
degraded
The only
into
thing
such
I've
shit.
ever I've ever built in the on foot part of this game is to do those missions when they were briefly interesting. I have a grade 5 Maverick suit with a couple of
interesting.
mods. I have a rocket launcher that I got to level 4 and then stopped because that's how far you have to take it to take out one of those fucking things in one shot.
Hey,
That's
tried
it.
suit
I'm
shaming
done.
you.
case in point, I'm right now on my way to undermine a system, and one thing I have to do is get out of my ship and upload spyware on foot at a settlement. So, thank you very much.
Good God, you play all the worst
Jesus.
game loops. What is wrong with you? No, I'm
Hey,
just kidding.
Why do you think I uninstall every time?
Now, what I was hoping was what the new feature was going to be is that they were going to let us, fly onto water worlds, and our ship would be like a submarine, and you'd be able to float around in these things at 10 meters per second. And get nowhere. You'd be underwater for hours in the dark.
The mission is to go like 12 miles or something, and you're like, well, better go make a sandwich.
Yeah,
It's faster to fly to Alpha Centauri.
And then
what
they
is it?
create an SEO for your underwater drive out of the new Titan parts that we've been harvesting.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
so then if you actually do run into any actual life, you'll be traveling so fast through the water, you just obliterate it and
Oh, that's-
I wonder what that was.
That's what
And-
Lee Ri can do as his big comeback, right? He'll make the better underwater drive that really makes it so we can get places
Jesus
quickly.
Christ. This is why we're not in the
And
partner
lights
program.
bright enough that you can actually see, because once you're, Jesus Christ. All right.
But then
never mind.
Achilles
That-
is going to come back with another drive that'll let you go down, dip down into gas giants, and Lee Ri is going to get all crybaby again.
And all of our
Jesus
ships are designed
Christ.
to hold pressure in, and yet we need to keep pressure out. It's I don't know. Now you know how I feel about water worlds being a feature in this game at any point. So,
Well, I was expecting the new feature to be, Buckyball Manager 33011.
that would be awesome, actually. Though, if they gave them
fucking
rings,
great.
oh my god, I would have been super excited.
It-
And
well,
I would,
no,
and then
it's a
Buckyball
management
manager 3307 when you manage the game of Buckyball in the game of Elite.
Buckyball
Yes.
manager
Manager
20
3301.
013 manager community manager edition DLC.
yes,
God.
where
But
you
you're
can
not
play
allowed to
as
actually
Alec
buckyball
Turner.
race. Yeah, you're not allowed to buckyball race in that. You just manage.
You just
Yeah, I
manage.
just want to tell
Yeah.
Alec Turner what to do,
That's the whole game. They give you Alec Turner's phone number, and you just call him and yell at him.
Make the turn! Make the turn!
Do the cool thing where you look down but
cool
somehow
thing.
fly. Do that.
I'm gonna call and yell at Alec Turner and Buckyball.
And this is why we don't make the game.
Why the hell are you rolling down the side of that crater?
Why did you make a second video of you rolling down that crater? Love you, Alec. So,
Well, guys,
all right.
great,
That-
great,
do we got
great,
anything else?
great vision
wait.
board sesh.
Community corner. Let's do community corner.
Oh, it's buckyball. Look at
It
that.
is Buckyball. Look at that.
Fucking buckyball.
We are doing a Buckyball management sim here. Oh my god.
Once upon a time, at least he continues. I do think it probably went until today, right? It was probably just closing today,
Started
maybe.
today on the 24th. Huh. We're just talking about this
Oh,
now.
Nobody updated
old
the
news.
notes. It's
Old
not the
Oh, I'm
24th.
blaming Lark because he updated the squadron update after I updated the squadron update, but he didn't do the community
You
corner.
always
Yeah.
blame the guy who's not here. That is smart
That's what I
management.
do.
It
on
started on the 24th. That's correct. That's old notes from last week, but it's still correct. And
And,
they started early because
congratulations.
the update was coming through and they wanted to make sure people had enough time. So
Is the congratulations to Single Malt Scotty for soloing a Hydra and a Mandalay? Is that last week's news too?
No, that
that's-
was that was today.
that was that was
That was
today.
right.
I know
People.
he wasn't the
Good.
first. I mean, somebody who was a partner and had access to the preview did one during the preview. So
But does it count
Um,
if it was during the preview?
I don't know.
I mean,
So
it doesn't, that shouldn't count because that's like, that's like I scored 3 touchdowns in one game and it's preseason. Like, no, it's preseason.
Well,
Yeah, Meccan was doing a stream, just bought the Mandalay, engineered it. First time he takes out to fly, and he's like, "We're just gonna go for the no-hit Hydra." And I've never flown this ship before, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay, them calling it a preview server and not a test server is just fucking stupid. Because when they find bugs on that server, they're fixing them. So those people are testing the stuff. I don't
Yeah,
care
but
what they
those
say.
people,
They're
those
testing
people
the
are showing it
crumb.
off to the.
It's the
they're
test
showing it off to
preview
the rest of us.
branch.
Oh, it's a branch.
Like a-
That's
No,
right.
they got the crumb.
Whoa.
Definitely a branch. Jesus Christ. All right. I'm bitter enough already. It's time to kick this pig. No, we do that at the beginning. What do you do at the end? We kill the pig?
The wrap
Pig
up.
kicks you.
Pig kicks me. The pig in Soviet Russia, the pig kicks you.
The king kicks you.
Pigs you. For sure. All right. I don't know. Cheese of the week is Craft Singles. And thank you. I'm not
Vintage.
going to thank Lark Shadow because he came late, left early. My God. Is that how he. Never mind. All right. So,
that's baller.
all right.
That's a
Thank
valid
you,
choice.
Blooming Wind, for being here. Thank you, Trax, for being here. Thank you, Oblivious, for being here. I'm going to thank myself for being here. Thank you, Craig, for being here. I don't think I forgot
you.
anybody.
Thank you, Chick,
Thank you,
for
Chick,
hosting.
for hosting.
You're welcome. And Adaxius,
Yeah.
happy holidays.
Thanks, bud.
It's the best alliteration I could come up with right there. So, all right.
I saw it.
Is this time of year really hard for you because of that? You
I
wish they'd go
just
back to more Merry Christmas to avoid the
just
Happy Holidays crap?
try
or-
to numb myself from November 1st to New Year's.
All
Yep.
right. Makes sense.
Drinking.
Mm-hmm.
lots of drinking.
Yep.
Lots of rum.
Yeah.
All right.
Putting up
I
with
think
you
that's
guys is enough.
all we got. Ty, come next week, and if you listen to this point in the show, come next week and talk about what you want to talk about, because you're always welcome. It is technically your show.
And we
all
promise
right.
not to pledge a faction without you talking to us first.
Yeah. Is it?
The
Is,
squad
am I
will
supposed
never-
to hit stop recording, or somebody else?
The squad will never pledge a faction.
I wouldn't say never. Actually, you can't pledge as a faction. can
I'm
you?
not sure. I'm not sure what that's about. I don't know. Should I look in my side panel about that right now?
About what?
Squadron,
Oh yeah, Squadron. Oh, I was
Squadron
looking at that.
Allegiance.
So, like I said,
Yeah. What is this?
Oh, still going.
Squadron Allegiance. Oh, that's my allegiance to Loose Screws Squadron.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Squadron Management. I was on the wrong
So
screen.
let's get rid of that.
Members, ranks, settings. I
We're
can't.
accepting members.
None
You
of
can
this
leave the squadron.
changes anything.
What if you click on that?
Still recording. Still recording. All
right, whatever. I don't think our
power
squadron
there.
can
you
actually.
Can click a power.
Wait, really?
In settings, management. Select the power.
In settings.
Still recording.
Oh, power. None. Oh, yeah. Here they are.
Yeah, you can pick any one you want.
Wait.
Why do I have
Audacious,
this
shut the
power?
fuck up for a second.
Yeah.
We can pick anyone we want, except if we wanted to pick. Oh wait, no, Nakato Kaine's here. I was like looking through the list.
There.
Okay, yep, they're all here. All right, never
Do we
mind.
go
We're allowed.
Zamina Torval? If I click on that, will it just happen, or is it going to give me a confirmation?
I don't. Let's
I'm gonna
not
try
test
it.
it.
Oh,
Oh
shit!
man.
I'm going to go back to none. I don't think it does anything because there's no like. Oh no, you have to
It's just
apply
something-
changes. Nope, you need to apply changes. Okay,
Okay.
I'm not going to do it. So yes, I could. We could do that.
We
at the
could,
beginning.
but we won't.
And just
Well,
like
yeah.
that, the loose screws are no longer independent.
Oops.
All right.
So this
All
is
right.
how democracy dies.
Goodbye, Chig.
Hey, bye.
Bye.
Hi, Jake.
Good night, all.
Good night.